Good morning. A early recap for today's Bund session. It's only a few minutes before 10 o'clock and Bund already played my hypos that one could expect in these areas. So that means already now the recap and debriefing. So I'm finished in this market for this morning. Today it's Tuesday the 15th of October. To look onto my hypos. Hypo 1. The range long level is lower pre-market volume at 172.51. Before this was the level about 61. It changed after 8:30. Too much pressure came already into this level that was before prepared for my first short entry coming from here to the downside to this area here. 62. Like I said, this already happens. So market bounced a little bit, tried to get into a stabilization, but only for a few minutes. So this is why I said then the range long level at 172.51 is also the list at the moment for if there is high pressure continuing into this level. This would also very good leaving let's say the value from yesterday, this rotational level for the short towards 51, and target would be then around the area 44 and the area 34. So plus possible, but you see here was already some kind of area where we saw the late evening and overnight trading build this rotational level, also copied by the volume from last week's. That means the lower distribution that was built on Friday was, as you know, and on Monday taken out. So that means where the shorts came in, we built yesterday the long. So this was an important level, but also knew that there's a bigger edge around this 34, 35, 36 area here. So that means this would be my second target. And we really need to see that the pressure of selling continues here to have a chance to get through this complete distribution, which is more like a B model. Even it cannot be seen as a straight B model because normally you see some deeper LVN in between. But you see effectively the pullback level here when on Monday market started, everything where the most volume was handled was within this area, and then it was also here. So target areas, I think you will see it maybe equal. It's the same thing, and important then also, of course, the long level. We don't know, but if there's news coming in bad for the stock markets, maybe good then for Bund. If we get really strong buying power towards the higher pre-market volume edge, the same thing to the 77 level, then we may re-enter this higher distribution. See this here, this higher, where we yesterday then failed in the afternoon with the US session to stay within this distribution, fill out. This is also from Friday, this area filled out, repaired this lower volume nodes, but there of course is this bigger edge rotational level 85. That means re-entering here would give us a chance, 77 strong power to get to the 85 area. Let's see how it was played out. It was very interesting because market already played its hypo, reaching target 1, barely reached target 2, but it reached of course the area, and one need to see then to get out of course of a maybe second position when you see that the second try here already failed with halfway back and initiative or responsive buying, is coming in and leading then to a first try of transition back into and filling out, repairing this lower volume node created here in the pre-market. This volume edge was tested then with the open, and this when I came in here for the first time, I saw here that we have a responsive buying on this side here. This happens here at this moment. You see they open took place 9 o'clock, 9:30, 9:01, and you see people bought here. That means they already tried to get re-entering, repairing the lower volume node, re-entering this distribution from yesterday, and target would be around value area low marked here in the computer. This is not my value area low, but the target, see this gray rectangle is of course this upper edge here, so the 58, 59 levels. What happens, you see here in delta, I can also show you in the footprint and the volume by price on the micro level chart. But just give me a second. I need to put this monitor on screen. Where is it? There it is. And we do have this monitor here. So if you take a look here at this areas at this moment, and I scroll back to this moment, where you can think of, all right, this was my hypo, that means re-entering this area. Think of it, the range long level, re-entering this area to get into and filling out and get into this distribution. You see this from yesterday. This is what I played then at 9 o'clock 1. And you see here, open took place. Wait a second, I tell you when it happens. So this is the open phase, and now you see this is a 1 minute chart here. You see every minute is one profile by volume, by price. Volume by price, and measured every profile is 1 minute. Here we have a 30 seconds. 30 seconds is the same like my intraday chart, where I'm looking onto to see this overall structure in the moment in context to the big picture. So see what happened. We see, I saw after the open, all right, of course, they tested a little bit this area. I want to see that they stay here. I want to see responsive buying coming in to get a chance to get into this value again to my target area around 58, all right? Or see it here, want to see here, POC is building now again to the upside, re-entering target area around this 58. See what happens? Some good signs appeared. That means we go now 30 seconds forward and you see, all right, not only no more interest in selling, but people get into buying again. So I entered here and got stopped out because there was no follow-up buyers. So this is more aggressive entry. You see this also here in the profile. At this moment, they were about to get higher here, but you see, even though some volume was built a little bit higher and I entered this was at the 51 level, you see this here and here, this was this packed together, 30 seconds to this, 30 seconds here to this. So stopped out, only little risk, 4 ticks, and waited for the second try. And now we go back to the main monitor to see how it looks like then. So means my hypo 3 first try with open failed, and I waited now for about the pullback to this yesterday and today in pre-market volume cluster POC, and you see now they rotated, couldn't get lower, already responsive buying. They built the POC at this very moment. See this here was the POC now, so it copies the yesterday level. That means we have a POC pullback, can't go below, finding some acceptance on it, and now see boom boom. See this? Value away and shifting, price gets a little bit higher. See this here on the other monitor here. See this? POC a little bit shifting upwards. You see interest buying away from it. I entered here, try to get in cheap at this area now. So boom, boom, initiative away. See here, I entered at my screen here. See this? So again, acceptance. Look at delta. Boom, boom. Initiative away. I entered cheap. That means towards entering this distribution. Within, entered, and you see even did not come back to test it. My stop at this moment was 46, so 5 ticks away. As the initiative continued, I put it closer. That means to where initiative started from. Clearly to see here, clearly to see here, or clearly to see here. All right, understand that my stop now was at the 48 level here, where they start. So I had overall, had to calculate, had a 3 ticks risk, and on the other side had a 7-8 tick chance. So I two risk reward of 2. All right, and yeah, it worked pretty quick. Only 1 setback, and even this was absorbed now. See this? POC already was built, almost here, was built here. I reached my target, and at the end, this was my play. Hypo 2, I couldn't participate because it was pre-market. Hypo 3, 2 tries. What can you see here? Definitely, of course, sometimes you don't get it with the first try. So it would be normal if you take maybe 5 trades to have, let's say, 3 that make your, if you're able to take only lucrative trades, there would be 3 out of 5 should be then winning trades, should be a plus trade, all right? And my tiny goal, for example, for today was just to execute, this is Tuesday, my Tuesday goal, in between 9 to 11, execute every setup, really execute every setup you have prepared and play it, every play. So, and then stay comfortable with it and trying to work on new behavioral patterns that serve your trading. Normally when you start and have this situation and start with the open and have immediately thinking here, okay, lucrative trade, hook on it quick and cheap, but have a minus, it's okay. But normally you may be a little bit more stressed now for the second opportunity and not feeling so confident. This is something, for this example, where you can see, where you can work very good or also recognize how you already behave as a trader. If you don't having or only having minor problems, a little bit uncertainty, okay, but overall, so only background thoughts and still confident and focused at this moment, you already achieved a very, very good professional trading mindset. That's very cool. And this is what you can measure for this example. Of course, sometimes you need not only one, but 2 tries, and that's okay. At the end, you see, it's all about risk reward. If you know that in this case and also in this case, you take on a trade that gives you 2 risk reward, so that means 2 to 1, 2, that's okay to have then only, for example, a 50% hit rate. If you work on your skills and have your mindset in control and can lower your rate of lousy trades, you will make money, most definitely. And if you don't think of this, if you don't think of getting in control and say, I know what was a lucrative trade, or call it what was a good trade that has everything handled good, has a good risk reward, was in context with the big pick preparation, then you only have to work on your micro picture. That means execution phase and management phase. But if you don't do so and also have lucrative trades, still let's say 5 out of 10, you will not make money. Even you have 5 out of 10 lucrative trades and 5 are lousy. If you have 5 lousy trades, you will not make money. I say you have 6 lucrative and 4 lousy, it's still very, very hard to make money. Because think of it, what's your goal? I think a goal would be, let's get to, let's say 60% hit rate, 60%. 60% of your lucrative trade can be winners. With also, let's say, only 2 to 1 very good risk reward, at least. But then you still have 4 out of 10. Let's say you're still having, you make this 60% and you make, let's say, 100 trades. And 100 trades, you have 60 trades that are lucrative. All right, and from the 60 trades that are lucrative, there are 60% plus trades. All right, that means that you have at the end 36 plus trades of 100. All right, that means you have 24 also lucrative trade but with a minus, but you have a 2 to 1 risk reward, so you make good money. But think of it, if you're still having 40% lousy trades, it is possible maybe you can measure, if you start now to measure if you have lucrative and what is your lousy trades. It's very probable, don't you think, that you still don't make a single dime, not a dollar, not a euro, whatever your currency is. So, and why I'm telling you this, I tell you because this were the main problems I have to understand before even starting about becoming on a way to become consistent profitable. This is the most important thing for me, as I had this mindset problems to getting better, even though the technical things were quite good already. And here you can really see, without cheating on you, really see if you have some situation like today, where maybe the first try don't work, how can you handle your emotions? To still be able, and think of it, don't cheat on you, be honest to yourself. It's for your career, it's for your development as a trader. How often can you say, I'm still objectively checking the market, understand what's happening, seeing my play, and able to execute? And after this, knowing this is now what's now next coming, the management phase of the trade, staying also objective, staying in a mindset that is more like neutral and not extreme to the one or the other side, and get your trade to the target without being too stopped out too early, without pulling the target too early. And I know this doesn't sound like rocket science, and it also sounds really hard. The problem is people totally, let's say, underestimate what it is in trading this thing of mental skills. And there are only few out there that are so talented and have this nature talent to not having like problems with this. And I know there are those people, but I think 80-90% will come to a certain, let's say, level of their development when they see everything should work. Everything should work. I do understand volume profile. I do understand auction theory. I do understand and already have developed good skills in tape reading, order flow, what it all needs to get the big picture into the micro picture. And I will tell you, this is already should be in most of other jobs be worth to get an award and say, wow, you're already so good. You should be so proud. And thank God you're not getting an award for this maybe in trading, because you then think maybe, wow, now I'm finished. Now I'll go to a big bank trading millions of money, big contracts for a hedge fund, but you're not making profits. And think of it. If really your big picture and micro picture, you're able to get it, bring it into context, reading the order flow, understand the tools like we use, order flow, order profile, auction theory. And if you then still don't make money, if you don't give it a chance to believe the theory that the mindset could be the reason, if you don't even give it a chance to get a little bit more looking inside, even though you have never maybe had contact to some psychologist or not being the most empathic guy or what, you know what I mean, give it a try, because it is high probability that this can be a reason. For me, it is. It was and it will be, because I know I need to have me under control and understand how I work, my mindset is working when certain things get triggered. Old behavioral patterns. Fear of maybe losing, fear of being wrong, fear of, let's say, falling into a too self-critical state of mind, which coming from my childhood, for example. And I can only say, you only have a chance if you take everything for real and take everything serious. And today, one could see this was only able for me to trade because I worked on my mindset game. And I know this is not the holy grail, and I'm not made myself rich with this really trade. At the end, there is 3 ticks plus on my account from this morning, tested setup, what I tested here. But that's not what it's about. It's not about the P&L, it's about the process, and most important thing is, if you can do it in the small size, and if you can stand this way of trading, you can make, of course, a lot of money. But if you're not staying in control, think of it, what this day would be then end this trade combination here. Yeah, and even if it seems like funny, let's say, yeah, what you're talking, it's only at the end you made 4, you lost 4, you made 7 here. Yeah, but the thing is, if you're not getting over it, staying and building new behavioral patterns, you will always have days where you think, oh, just 1 tick better, oh, just 1 tick earlier, and it would work out so good. Look how it worked out. If you work this now with a second position, and you know they have a possibility, if they don't fail already here on this edge, you see this, don't fail would be they pulling back, they absorb, and initiative starting directly again. So see this, we don't range back. This is not a balanced phase, because we don't range back, we already stop at the middle, whereas this area of the higher POC from yesterday, and you see initiative starting again. Ranging back, no. Stopped here, yeah. Initiative already again. You understand then at this very moment All right, when it really comes now lower, lower, I stop my second position. But when I see this behavior, I can get here very, very, very light profit and even get back to this upper range and testing the 71 level and see what happened. It happened. And you have to understand, even it looks maybe funny and it doesn't look like the big catch I made here. At the end, staying in control, be able to execute again without too much fear, gives you the chance to make a day that could have become a -4, -10 day. Because if you're emotional, maybe waste this, get out too early, start already here, get stopped out then, you don't know. This can happen. I can show you a dozen of examples where I failed. Even people told me, wow, you're already so good. But I wasn't with the mental game. So see, this change a day, it is always a very, very thin line between having few ticks minus every day or some ticks plus, so around the 0, or having big, big, big profits. And it all starting with your mindset for this example. All right, so a little bit more mindset talking again. I would love to hear some question onto it. I would love to hear now from our mentoring, from you guys. Write some questions. We will make now the next step. It is about to say, let's go. How you going? How you feeling with your big pick prep? How is your, what is your first thoughts for play development? Because now we go into step by step to the next level and say we will work more now for straight strategy development. What you guys have to do, you have to work out with our help and build your own system. This is very important. And therefore, we need to see now where you guys at. All right? That's very important. So, write down a message. Tell me where you at. What would you have traded this? What could be the play development look like? What is the actual situation with your big pick preparation? Think of it. This is all stuff from module 1 and big picture preparation and reading market and all stuff from module 2. We already talked a little bit about plays, what Matthias is doing. Now we want to go to the next module, and therefore we need to see then what is going on. Matthias already talked about a little, let's say, test you want to make to see, can you already bring a good big picture preparation on the paper, and then let's go see it in context. The next step is to see that you guys are good in the big picture prep, and the next step is then to go to the micro level, and your step and your work is then to develop a play with our help. That means our help is not sitting next to you and tell you exactly what to do. We just tell you what is good to look for, what should you implement in your thinking, in your work as play development, like what should be risk reward, what would be a scenario, what you look like, what is the daily preset, means where's the market coming from, where do we start, is it more a bullish, it is a rangy, or is it a bearish preset? Do we develop plays for the virgin market? That means virgin market is without any areas having been touched after 9 o'clock. That means the first time a range long, what for example like would be this here, the first time the short like would be this here. Let's say make a separation in between those things. This is the next step. Write down your questions, where you are, what are your expectations, what do you think. This is what we need to talk then next for the next step. All right, so far, thanks for watching. Here later, Anton Opfel for Manab.